Yo, what is up, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful day. Here in Mississippi, it is in the 90s, and it's supposed to be fall. But other than that, it is a great day to be alive. Yo, I just wanted to check this video out. I've got a really good one. Today we are going to prove that Charlie Kirk is a fascist and a Nazi. Watch this.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm just curious about your stance on college as a scam, because I feel like, according to the Hamilton Institute, people who get bachelor degrees over a total lifetime earnings will earn over $1 million more than those who don't. And also, I feel like college is an important place for people to go learn valuable life lessons. And also, it's good to have a balanced society, because then you're gonna get artists, you're also gonna get architectures, you're gonna get engineers, you're gonna.
So he does bring up a good point, actually. Before Charlie gets into it. The world, if everyone's a doctor, then who's going to make lunch, right? If everyone's making lunch, then who's going to fix the toilet? If everyone's a stonemason, but no one's a drywall expert or a carpenter or an HVAC technician, then where are we? I mean, I understand what he's saying, but I don't think it has any merit on his argument, though.
Going to get all sorts of different people that we need in society, because what's the point in living if we don't have writers or artists, So I just want to get your take on that.
The question is, do the best writers learn to write in college? Probably not. No.
Right.
The best writers are gifted writing, and they learn to write by writing.
Some of the guys I know who actually went on to do things for their career, a lot of them that own their own business actually learned on the side by DIYing stuff. They started either working with their dad or doing something, flipping houses, doing construction with a buddy. He's like, hey man, I got a trailer. We're going to go build this deck. You want to hop on? He's like, sure. And then they just do it and they get better and better. But a lot of them don't have formal training and they're multi-millionaires. So that's just an odd, that's a good point that Charlie makes, as a fascist and a Nazi there.
And I would just argue that this kind of holistic view you get. For example, what are you studying? Can I ask?
Economics.
Okay, so what do you think of Thomas Sowell?
I actually really like him. I bought his book, Basic Economics.
Great. Step right into that one.
Do they teach it here?
Not yet, but also I've only been for
so now you're proving my point. If you're studying economics and they're not teaching Thomas Sowell, you're not getting an education, you're getting an indoctrination.
Right, you're seeing only one side of the picture. Part of being really good at anything is seeing different sides, right? That's why the internet can be so dangerous. You get these crazy folks who say, well, I think the sky is red and no one can tell me anything. And they go on the internet and they find a couple of people who are just like them, and it becomes an echo chamber. But it's not grounded in reality. So what I like about what Charlie's saying is that you do need multiple points. You need to know your enemy. You need to know the different arguments out there so that you can come to the conclusion of which one's best. And if you don't, then you're basically up a river with only one paddle and the current is against you and you're trying to swim up a hill, up current with one paddle in a canoe. Good luck.
And you're being scammed.
Right.
Okay.
Milton Friedman. Do they teach Milton Friedman here?
No, but I'm aware of him.
Okay. Ludwig von Mises.
I'm aware of him, but no.
Murray Rothbard. Hold on.
I know Rothbard.
No.
F.A. Hayek.
No.
Frederick Bastiat.
No.
I don't know Bastiat.
You're not getting economics education. You're getting an indoctrination. You should know every single. It's not your fault, but what you're paying for or going into debt for is not a real economic education. Those are the people that theorized about free markets, which is a legitimate school of thinking. Monetarism, private property rights. And the fact that I'm not criticizing you, I'm criticizing the institution that's failing you, that you don't know what these people believe and you're not being taught that rigorously, proves my point that college is a scam.
Yeah, but again, I've only been here a semester and a half. So,
but what
that
do you know who
matter.
John Maynard Keynes is?
Heard of him. Actually, we did read about him a little bit.
Okay, so you read about John Maynard Keynes, but you were Keynes.
Yeah, in class. I learned in class.
Right, so that's my point, is that they'll teach you Keynes, but
he doesn't realize it that he actually just proved Kirk's point without even realizing it.
They won't teach you one out of the 7 people that I mentioned of Bastiat, Hayek, von Mises, Rothbard, Sowell, or Friedman. And that proves my point, which is that it's all demand side. It's all one picture of an economic argument that is not the complete picture of what. Now, maybe later on you'll get a supply side, economics teacher here, but this idea that you go to college to kind of get your worldview liberated, yet you get your worldview altered. To be perfectly honest. Secondly, to your point of earnings over a period of time, it matters completely and solely on what you study.
Right. And Charlie Kirk brings this up, which is very hateful and Nazi of him. He was very kind to bring this up, being the kind, compassionate Christian Nazi fascist that he is. He basically did and showed a study where it was like he took, and this is like a national database. This is something you can Google right now. He took the degrees and the earning potential of every degree, and it basically compiled that of the majority of people who go to college, somewhere between 60 and 70% will have degrees that pay under a wage that a college degree should, like a liberal arts degree, a history degree, these kind of degrees that are just generic and bland and don't really get you into the job market. It's just you have a piece of paper, versus someone like a doctor, a lawyer, or a dentist. And these people are making so astronomically, they're making such an exponential amount of money, so much higher than all the other degrees, that it's actually skewing the graph. So when people say college does get you more money than if you didn't, that's actually not true. Only if you follow a certain profession, which is what our Nazi friend here is saying so kindly.
If you study the liberal arts, even after 10 years, study came out yesterday, 16 lowest paid majors happen to be some of the highest majors that people actually go and study.
That's right.
Which is liberal arts, sociology. God bless people that do that stuff, I suppose. Right. But you're also filled with all of the...
I love how he says, God bless those people, I suppose, because realistically, those people are the ones who are hurting themselves. I'm sure most of those people are intelligent. I mean, obviously enough, if they got a degree, they went to college, they put in the study, they're hardworking. I mean, you can't get a degree if you're lazy. I mean, we know that. I mean, it'd be very hard to. You still have to show up to class, you have to take tests, and you have to pass. So I don't necessarily think, I just think that, I think these people are kind of hurting and limiting themselves, because when you have someone so intelligent to go to college and to get into debt, 70, 80, 100K just for a bachelor's, right? A BS, a BM, whatever. It's just like they're kind of limiting themselves, because they're not going to earn what I personally think they should earn by putting the time in to obtain a college degree. And it's sad that some degrees are better than others. That's just the reality. And honestly, that's just life, right? A degree is think of it like a key, right? If you don't have the right key, you can't enter a door. So the college thing doesn't mean you're smart. It just means you've persevered and you've passed classes. But the piece of paper is supposed to be the key, and with that key you're supposed to enter a job in your field and then work your way up. But what's happened is the exact opposite. We've got hundreds of thousands and millions of people graduating with good degrees, and there's so many people competing for one spot: doctor, lawyer, dentist, this, that, and the other, the main professions, that people, there's like 70 to 80 people fighting for one spot in one area. Like, in Memphis, Tennessee, for example, there may be one spot for, critical care pulmonologist. It's just like, and all these people with 4.0 GPAs are fighting for it, and they are all in $250,000, $300,000 worth of debt. So it just seems skewed. It seems unfair, and I think that's what our wonderful, compassionate Christian Nazi friend is saying.
The woke rubbish that is infecting our society.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm just curious about your stance on college as a scam.
Okay, well, that was about it. The video lapse sometimes. I'm sorry about that, guys. But I think we had a lot of really good talking points today. College is definitely a hot topic, guys. When I was in college, I got close to dropping out. I was one of the people who thought college was a scam right from the get-go. I mean, I was a freshman, and I'm like, I went to the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, if you don't know. And so there was a lot of partying. There was very little studying. And it seemed like I was at like a frat boys play place. Like it didn't seem like I fit in. Like I was a nice guy, you know. I went and worked out every day. I loved to run, exercise, lift weights, and I loved to eat. So I mean, I would go to the cafeteria, I'd eat, I'd pick up something for lunch, I'd go to class, that kind of thing. I'd get done, I'd go work out. I was in bed at 10 o'clock every night. I played video games on the weekends. I hid in the library, did my studies, and once I was done, I had a that's when the DS was out, and the Nintendo DS, and I would find a hiding spot in the Ole Miss library, and I would stay. I remember Pokemon coming out on that Sunday, black and white, and after my studies, I would finish my studies as quickly as possible so I could go hide and play Pokemon Black and White until I beat it. Those were good memories, but needless to say, none of those memories were created because I was pursuing a degree. Most of it was, you know, just me dicking around, lifting weights, and chasing girls. And ironically, I didn't find my girl at Ole Miss, which is why I left Ole Miss. I switched colleges. And there's a whole nother story there, but I ended up finding my wife at a Christian university, and we're still married over a decade later. So, you know, it's funny how these things work. But as far as college, my personal opinion, I do think college is worth it, yes, if you are pursuing a PhD. I do not think college is worth it if you're staying at a bachelor's degree. I think you either need, nowadays everyone's got a bachelor's degree, let's just be honest. You either need a master's to get your foot in the door, or you need a PhD. You need to be a doctor. It just, with all that I've seen in the job market, I think I've worked 36 W-2s since I was 18 years old. And I'm only in my 30s, by the way. So I'm for a little while I was a job hopper. As soon as crap would hit the fan and they'd cut my pay or they'd double my hours, and then they're like, oh, we're not paying overtime because of some loophole, or you technically didn't clock in, so we don't have to pay you even though you pulled a 14-hour shift. You know, stuff like that is why I hop jobs. And unfortunately, in these lower jobs that don't require a major, you get a lot of that. But now I'm to a position to where people who have degrees aren't making as much money as I am now. And it's frustrating because I've worked my butt off and I've just recently gotten to this point. And I feel like so many of y'all are trying to work to that point, and you're going through the college route, and then the job market hits you with the reality, and it's just not fair. But like I said, I can go on and on all day. I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I am a newer channel, so if you could subscribe and like the video. And like I said, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.